Good morning, Soul Tribe. How's everyone doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. It's been hard, hasn't it? It's been pretty rough. Just when we think it's over, dun 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 dun, here comes more things for us to get through, right? Oh, you see my little orb? My little orb is around me. Spirit, come on in, fairies. You're welcome. Come in, work with us. Lift this vibration, bring us into a higher frequency of joy and fun. I know I sound crazy, don't I? But a lot of times, my little orb friends, those usually my team, my divine team is around working with me, working through me and around me. Sometimes they have things that they want me to share, and they're here just getting me through it, helping me to articulate what needs to be articulated, whether it comes out clear or not. It all depends. But when my fairies come in, sometimes it's, because when you think of fairies, they're like silly and, and fun and uplifting. So sometimes they come in at a time when there's so much low vibrations and heaviness that need to be lifted, so that we can see joy, happiness, not see, feel joy. I can't even talk. And I can't even blame it on Mercury retrograde, although post-shadow, I don't know if we're done with that or not, but I'm having a little bit of a problem communicating today for whatever reason. Yesterday, let me tell you, yesterday was crazy. My brain was nonstop. I was getting so many downloads, so much stuff was coming through, all these things that the spirit wanted me to know and prepare for. Wow, I have to say, I feel like the coming year is going to be very different. It's going to be a lot later, but I guess we will see when the time comes, right? Right now, we're going through it. We're trying to get through this transformation, and some people will get through it and others will not, right? They have a little bit more of a delayed reaction to that transformation. But what's been going on in the collective with clients, even myself experiencing things again that are coming up to the surface. But for whatever reason, I feel like this last time, even though it felt, and this was in the last week, yesterday, I have to say, yesterday was probably the best day after the whole week of getting through stuff. I was ready to say shit, but I'll be nice. I won't curse. Triggers that I was being challenged with, and so many of us have been challenged with things that are coming up, things about how we feel, things of what we thought our lives were, or who we were, or who people around us were, or situations. Just like a lot of what I'm gathering from people is a lot of doom and gloom, right? It's like, am I ever going to be happy? Am I ever going to be at a place of peace and joy? Well, yes, you will be. It's just a matter of getting to it. This transformation is representing a lot of change. We're at a place right now. This is what these awakenings are representing. It's change. We're trying to shed an old version of who we thought we were, right? Or what we allowed people to tell us we were, or what we allowed ourselves to be defined by. And here we are now at this place of realizing, for the ones who have gotten to this place, that we created so many illusions and wore false masks just to seem and appear to be something or someone that we are not. And I know I've talked about this in past videos that I've done, and it seems to come up a lot. But yeah, we're going through it, but we have to go through it. It's really necessary for us to go through these changes to get to the other side, to get to the place of alignment with ourselves. You know, we really, really have to allow ourselves to let these things come up and flow through us. So what happens and what creates the challenge and the difficulty is that when it does come up, it brings us right back to that time or the time where we felt that way, right? And here we've been going through all of these changes and working on ourselves and doing all of these things, and we really are. We're really doing a lot. Most of us are really doing a lot of work. We're really looking at ourselves. We're really allowing the stuff to come up. We're really allowing ourselves to heal stuff. We're really allowing ourselves to see it for what it is. But we will be challenged from time to time, tested in a sense of, okay, we're going to bring some more stuff up. And again, a lot of times it's just remnants of things that are remaining, things that we have not completely let go of yet, right? And through this transformation, it is coming up for that reason, so that we can let it go. And that is what a lot of people are struggling with at this time, right? Bouts of anger, getting to a place where it's like, I'm just so tired of all of this. I don't want to do this. And then you have the ones who really are resisting the changes. There are a lot of us that are resisting the changes, and they're the ones who are going to have more difficulties getting through it, because they're not allowing themselves to heal that aspect of their lives. In a sense, what it is our shadow selves. It's the things about ourselves that we don't really like, the things about ourselves that we've suppressed and repressed, things that we've held on from childhood that has affected us in some way moving through life, the experiences that we've gone through that we repressed or suppressed, those emotions connected to those experiences, feelings of abandonment, feelings of, lack mentality, not feeling good enough, not knowing what our value is, feeling like no matter what we do, nothing is ever going to get better, but it will if you allow yourselves to go through what is trying to be shown. So what I've been experiencing from a lot of people in the collective, that energy, because I'm so connected to the energy of the collective, which contributes to a lot of my own stuff coming up to the surface. So let me tell you, just because we are light workers and healers, a lot of people think that, we're like the light, we do. We have that light. Our light is here to help others. Our light is here to shine on other people and shine on their dark parts. And that's why so many light workers do feel that emptiness sometimes, because we have that light that is just part of who we are. It does affect a lot of people in ways of shining on the parts of them that they don't want to look at. That's why a lot of light workers and healers, empaths, have difficulties in relationships, or being around certain people, and certain people wanting our energy, wanting that light, and taking a lot of that energy. But then there are people who cannot even be around that energy, that light, because it's shining on parts of themselves that they're not ready to look at. So that's where a lot of the relationships end, or they run away, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever the situation is. But we do have this bright light. But what I wanted to say was, we freaking go through it. And just because we're light workers and healers doesn't mean we don't have hard times and challenges and obstacles that we have to overcome. Hell yeah, we have a lot of our shadow parts of us that need to be released as well. Even more so, because we're supposed to be that light. We're supposed to be that voice, that's supposed to uplift humanity, right? Uplift people, show people their true potential. So we have to go through our own stuff to even get to the place of being able to even relate to a lot of the, in my case, like clients and that come to me, so what I feel like what I've been going through during this healing journey is I've been going through a lot of ups and downs, in my life. And that is the parts of me that I am sharing with many people. So as I'm going through it, I am sharing it with the people, to let them see that we're human too. We go through it, and we're here to help others find the light within themselves, right? So that they can heal and release the things that they need to release. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I just went on and on. Fairies, come back. Lift up this energy. Come back. It's interesting. But I had a past life regression not too long ago. And one of the lives that it took me to was a wizard. So I'm like, wow, I was a wizard in the past life. Look at that. Magical, right? No wonder I like wizard movies and fairies and dragons. That's strange, right? It was a very interesting experience, needless to say. It really did help me to see things clearly as far as my gifts, to bring it more, make them more present, more clear to me, gaining that clarity of who I am and why I do the work that I do, and helping so many people get through the things that they need to get through, right? It's what I chose or what they chose me to do, part of it too. Because sometimes we're chosen to do this kind of work probably because of past lives where, we were doing it. And maybe in those past lives, we weren't allowed to show that part of us. That was another past life that they took me to too, where I was a seer, I guess is what they called it back in that time. I think it might have been in the late 1800s. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember now, but where I had to hide myself from society. And in this past life, I was in a village, the village that I was living in. And I was very unhappy in this village because I couldn't be myself, who I truly was, because people were afraid of it. They feared. I remember crying in this past life when it came up for me, because it just felt so empty and cold, and I just felt like I was not seen or heard, or wasn't allowed to be seen or heard. I remember keeping my head down, looking down, walking through the village because I couldn't look at people. I wasn't allowed to look at the villagers because they were so fearful of who I was, because I couldn't look at people and just know things, right? And that, I feel, has always been part of me. Therefore, the wizard energy, where I was a seer for this is going to sound strange, but let me tell you something, it took me a little while to process it, because I was like, how is that possible, right? But it is, right? When we go into past life regressions, we will be taken back to these kind of places. You know, we may even be brought back to the spirit side, or, you know, we might have been an alien or whatever, you know what I mean? Source, you know, right to the start where we first were created. But I think it just helped me understand, bringing me back to the wizard energy, where that I was this wizard, and I worked for, I guess I was kind of, you ever watch those medieval times, the kingdoms, where they have like their wizards and their advisors that they would go to that would predict things? Well, that's kind of what I did. So I know I worked for royalty, and I was in this castle, and what I would do is make predictions and see things, and dragons would give the scrolls to dragons to take to wherever they were supposed to take, you know. So I was like an advisor, seer, and I remember during the death part of the past life, I remember feeling not afraid at all, just kind of like okay with the part of dying, and I just remember being in this bed. I'm serious, like I was a wizard. I looked like the long hair, the whole 9 yards. I looked like, because this is where it took me. I looked like Merlin the wizard, with like long hair, cape. I had my horses and I had my dragons and my little fairies floating with me. So it was freaking interesting. So, you know, a lot of these past lives, they are, you know, when you have a regression and you come out of it, it just teaches you things about yourself, things that have been repressed from lifetime to lifetime. And each lifetime that we choose to go through an experience, you know, those gifts are always part of who we are. It's just in certain lifetimes we're not allowed to use them because people feared knowledge. People fear, especially women. Women were so oppressed and shut down, and, you know, the littlest thing you would be looked upon as a witch, burnt at the stakes, you know. And in my second lifetime regression, during that same session that I was in, it took me to that village where people were so fearful of the knowledge and the knowing, the things that I knew. And I remember the way I died in that one was they tied me up to a tree and left me all by myself. Just died all by myself, all alone. So, and if I go to think about other past lives that I've remembered or have been told, most of them, my gifts were shut down, you know, all the things that I knew. So this is why I say this is a time of awakening, and we are truly awakening to the authentic version of who we truly are. You know, if you believe in past lives, we were so oppressed and shut down, and even to a certain extent now in this lifetime we are, right? But the only difference in this lifetime is the gifts, the healing, the seeing, the knowing is more accepted. Majority of the society will understand it. You know, everybody's going through this awakening. Spirituality is being welcome in now. Nobody's running away from it. They're trying to understand it. So it's a little bit more accepting now than it was in lives before. So imagine we're carrying all of that shame and all of that blame and all of that not using our voice and being shut down to being who we are from lifetime to lifetime, and then being brought up by families that had strict beliefs that shut us down as well, right? Projections of their lives and unhealed trauma being put and imprinted in us, you know, carried down. So just imagine, this is why this transformation is so difficult, because we're really trying to clear a lot of patterns and behaviors of times before us, and whatever we gone through in this lifetime, like we have to really start to release that. Because we cannot go into this higher frequency, this higher consciousness, until we can get to the place of letting go of the dead weight, the dead weight. I was talking to someone yesterday, a friend of mine, and we were talking about how we're rising in frequency and vibration, how the collective and the changes and transformations that many people are going through. And why we're being so affected mentally, physically, emotionally, because it's a shedding of an old way of being, knowing, doing that is really not even part of who we are. We're trying to get into this place of aligning with our truth. The truth is trying to come up, but I remember telling her that I had a vision while I was talking with her about how they were trying, how, the universe, how spirit was trying to explain to me. It's kind of like, those horror movies or thrillers, when you're trying to dispose of a body, they would wrap chains around them or big rocks around them. This is what they were showing me. It was so weird. And then throw them in the water. And then their bodies would sink, right? So it's like all that dead weight that we're carrying from lifetimes before, from imprints, from programming, from limitations, from all of the things that we were programmed to believe and to think. All of that stuff is no longer in alignment with who we are. And this is what the transformation is about, us getting to that place now of aligning to who we are, right? Who we truly are. And we have to get rid of that dead weight, and in order to rise in that frequency and vibration. And a lot of people are not willing to make those changes, because it's difficult. And then you have to look at things that you're not prepared to look at, or choose not to look at, because it is painful, right? It's why so many people suppress their emotions, because emotions suck. More or less. It's like, you don't want to feel. It's easier to shut it down and block it and pretend and create distractions and wear masks and illusions. But that is not going to work anymore for us. It's not meant to work for us anymore. We're trying to recreate a true version of who we are. Or I don't want to say recreate, but create the version of ourselves we are meant to be, right? So the anger is going to come up. You're going to get angry. You're going to get frustrated. All of this stuff is really, it's all coming up for a reason, We have to face our truths in order to let them go and move on into this new cycle. Right? So we have to pay attention to what is coming up, not resist it, not run from it, not distract yourself from it. And we have to really acknowledge the things around us, in our surroundings, in our, environment that are not working for us anymore. They're not working anymore, right? Honor yourself, allow this stuff to come up, and it will be an easier transition moving forward. Hi, my little fairy friend again. It will be an easier transition moving forward, right? So don't fear it. Allow it to come up to the surface. But I didn't want to go into all of this. I really wanted to make this video a fun video. I wanted to pull some oracle messages to do with love and relationships and any kind of guidance, whatever spirit wants me to share with you. Fun. So you may start seeing a lot of orbs flying around, because especially if it's my fairy friends coming around, because it's like, okay, the energy is getting ready to shift right now. We want to get out of the dense energy and start to shift the energy into getting into a higher vibration, right? We want to go into a higher vibration. So I'm going to pull a card. So, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going through it. Everyone's going through it. It's going to be more challenging and more difficult if you fight it. If you resist it, it's going to take longer to get through. And some people are just so shut down, they don't even feel the effects of it. It's like, what? That's happening? Oh no. But we do at some point. We're going to feel a little bit, we're going to feel it. We just may not understand what it is. But I feel like everyone is feeling it to some extent. This change, this shift, this frequency. And like I said, last week was more about shedding some of this old stuff. And so the triggers were there to bring this stuff up so that we can start to let it go. So that old stuff of feeling like, is our lives going to change? Am I ever going to find, happiness and joy, or, ever going to have the things that I want in life, and love and abundance, and, all of those lack mentality things. Victim consciousness stuff that we put ourselves through, or like the word that came up. Yesterday was a crazy day for me. I was getting so many damn downloads. It was so crazy yesterday. I felt like I was nonstop, just all over the place, just all over the place. Today was a little bit more stuck. I feel like whatever's going on in the collective today affected me and brought my energy down a little bit. But here I am, raising the vibration. Because I don't like to feel, I don't like to be in low energy. Of course, I'm human, and I allow it. If it's got to happen, it's going to happen. I don't resist it. I let it do what it needs to do. It's important. It's not something that I could avoid, and it's something that it's not something I want to avoid, because I really am ready to get rid of it all. Like, I'm really ready to start, just as many people out there are as well. We're ready to just start new. Exciting. Start this new cycle. Do the things that we are meant to do. The things that are more in alignment with us. That I'm ready. I'm just ready for that part of me. So if I still have to shed some stuff and some remnants that are still connected to the old version, the old life of mine, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. It sucks going through. But I'm okay with letting it come up and seeing it for what it is and letting it go. But I'm going to tell you, I've been doing the work for so long, so when it comes up, it doesn't really take a hold on me for a long period of time. Even though it was a few days for me, it took a few days this time. It wasn't just one thing. It was a bunch of different things. So it's like one thing would come up one day. I would have to deal with that, and the next day something else would come up, and so for like 4 or 5 days, something different was coming up, and then finally I cleared it. I released it. I let it go. I surrendered it, and then yesterday I was at a better place. I was in a more clear place, and that's why I was downloaded with so much stuff. Things that I'll be doing coming up in the new year. There'll be a little bit of a downtime for me in December, because I'll be going through a procedure, so I'll be down for the count for a little bit. But it's okay. I'm not really fearing it so much, this procedure that I'll be having done. I feel confident about it, and I also feel like it's also remnants of the old part of who I was and the old things that I went through in my life that stayed stuck and affected me physically, in disease or whatever, whatever it was. And I feel like it's just a clearing of all of that. So I'm ready for a brand new body. Releasing that old crap that I've been holding on to that was connected to my past, and my life. And I'm ready to be a clear channel to continue to share with all of you all of the amazing things and all of the changes and shifts that we'll be going through. And guidance, you know, and messages from spirit to guide you and help you get through your lives, right? And mine as well, right? Because we'll be going through things until the day we die. It's just as it comes up, now we'll get better at dealing with it. So let's pull a card. So I'm going to end that. I'll end this video, and then I'm going to pull a spread for relationships. Okay. So let's see. I want to share a surrender card. See what the universe, to get us through what we're going through right now, to release this anger and this doom and gloom period that a lot of us are going through, and this uncertainty that a lot of us are going through. What does Spirit want us to surrender that will help us to get through it? Right? So you've been going through it too? How have you been dealing with it? How have you been dealing with it? I'd like you to, if you want to share your story, I think I'll leave my comments open when this video gets posted on YouTube. And don't forget to like and share and subscribe to my channel. It does help me get the messages out that I need to get out, that, are meant to get out. And also in the near future, I'll probably be creating another YouTube channel to cover other things that I'm being guided to do. So a lot of stuff is changing for me, and all of that will be announced in the upcoming months into the new year, of other services that I'll be providing, and guidance and help and all of that good stuff, that I'm being upgraded to doing, and I'm actually looking forward to. I mean, Reiki will always be part of my sessions too. I'll always be doing Reiki because that's just part of who I am. So, too many cards fell, so I'm going to just shuffle again, keep shuffling. So I'll be announcing all of that. So, subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell so you'll be able to get notified of whenever I upload videos. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Reiki by Isabella. If you have any questions for me, you can email Reiki by Isabella at gmail.com. All right, my loves. And also I'll be sharing what my older son Michael just completed a new song. He's so talented. Both of my children are so talented, musically inclined, talented children, let me tell you. But my older son Mike, who is Orno Music, he just completed a new song that is going to be out, released soon. So as soon as the full song is released, I will post it so that you can listen to it. They're pretty talented. My children are so talented. I'm lucky, and they're following their dreams. That's something that I've always tried to instill in them, follow your dreams. We need to have our passions, and this is part of the transformation we're going through too. It's like, it's time for us to honor who we truly are and the things that we truly love, and to do those things. Start doing those things again. Those projects that we pushed aside, because life happened and we just didn't want to. We felt like we didn't have the time to do. This is the time. You want to tap into all of the things that are going to light your fire. All of the things that you're passionate about that you've put on the back shelf, for another time when you thought you were going to have time. Part of this transformation is going to help you get into that energy, back into that energy to help get you through these shifts that we're going through. When you're doing things that you love to do, and the passions that you have in the creative outlets that you have, it really does help to bring us into a place of balance and alignment, which helps us to get through and navigate through all of these highs and lows that we're going through, you know, these frequency shifts and changes. So, you know, go back to doing those things that you used to love to do. It will help you to get through this transition. It really will help you, because it's going to keep you grounded. It's important to be grounded at this time, being present, doing the things that you love to do, going out for walks, resting when you need to rest. We don't have to run from thing to thing. Next thing, what's next? That's just a form of distraction, you know, distracting ourselves from allowing what we need to come up, you know, so that we can start moving in that vibration, in that high vibration. And, you know, and during this time, and I think that's why so many people are being hit with anger and stuff, and frustrations, because, you know, we're being forced to look at something that we don't want to look at, right? We got comfortable. We got comfortable in a relationship that really is not even making us happy, or we got comfortable with a job that makes us freaking miserable, right? Yeah, we have to make a living, but I'm telling you, if you align yourself with something that you truly love to do, even if you started on the side, anything that is in alignment that makes you feel good and is part of your journey and your evolution, the universe is going to come in and provide for you anyway. You're going to be taken care of. When you are in your truth, you will find, whenever you are in your truth, if you looked back, when you were standing in your power and you were in your truth, and, you know, and the mask wasn't worn and the illusions weren't created, you're going to look back and discover that during that time, when you were in that place of truth and authenticity, things were working out really well in your life, right? And it's because the universe is always there to guide us through our lives, especially if we're connecting to the things that we are meant to do, the things that we love to do. You never have to worry about being out on the street, you know, or living as a homeless person, right? You don't, because it is part of your journey. It is part of your destiny, because it feels so amazing and it feels good. And therefore, when it is part of our destiny, the universe is going to guide you through it. You don't have to fear it as much. Like I said, if you need to do it on the side to start, yeah, do it, you know, and then you're going to see how life is going to change for you for the better, right? Because the more we are in alignment with the things in our lives and the things that we do, and in our tapping into the creative outlets that make us feel joy, we're in a high frequency then. It brings us into that higher vibration. So it feels good. And then we just end up attracting more of it, right? All right, so what do we need to surrender, Spirit? What do we need to surrender to that will help guide us through this transformation that many are going through? What do we need to surrender that will help us get through it? I can't believe this year is almost over. It's crazy. Oh, there it goes. Let me see. Yes, loud and clear. So what is one of the things that we need to surrender to get through this transition? Surrender to negative thinking. You have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly